What's going on, guys? It's a Nintendo Nerd. Today, since my last Skylanders video got 50 views, and I promised that I would make another one if it got 50 views, here we are talking about Skylanders Giants. Yes, it's the second game in the series, and since I already talked about most of the Skylanders here, I'm only going to talk about the ones in the game. I wanted to have everything lined up right here, just so then I could have all of them formatted like they're on the box. These, you can see the bases. So, the blue bases are Swap Force, green are the original Spyros Adventure, and orange is from this game. Alright, so let's just go over it, and we can talk about the game itself later, and the portal. Alright, since I already went over these, I'm gonna just talk about the ones that I actually have for this game specifically. So let's just throw these away. Just gonna hear a bunch of clinking. I have Drill Sergeant in the back right here. Alright. Since there's not really much I can talk about with these, let's just go and say if they're a good one or not. Alright. Drill Sergeant is okay. He is the worst from the original series, from the Spyros Adventure, but I have the Giants version, and I'd say he's pretty good. I don't really have a lot of Giants ones, as you can see. I only have 5 of them, with 2 of them coming with the package. I don't have Cinder. I have never owned her. I got this game loose when I was a kid. And there's nothing you hate more as a kid when you get a game, but you have to buy accessories separately. So it kind of just defeats the purpose of saving money by getting the game itself. Alright, let's talk about Tree Rex now. Tree Rex. This guy is probably very nostalgic to you guys. If you played Giants at least, because I'm assuming that most of you played Giants, because if you clicked on this video, then I'd assume that you want to know or already know about Giants, and you just are trying to find someone to watch that's talking about this. But anyway, Tree Rex, the most nostalgic, heavy Skylander, because a lot of people got this with the starter pack. And this game is the most nostalgic to people. People are a little more iffy about Swap Force now, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Giants. I got him for my friend. He didn't want some of his Skylanders. He let me get this off him. And I reset his Skylander and immediately got him back to max level with all of the upgrades. I played it a lot during that time. This is my favorite game in the series. That's why I'm discussing this one first and not Spyro's Adventure. And Swap Force, I don't think I would talk about, only if I made a video on how it's bad. But anyway, let's talk about Crusher. Crusher is also on the starter pack, and let's just talk about this for a second, about the Giants in general. First off, the Giants are pretty different. I remember I put Hothead on the portal when I first got this game, because I went to Toys R Us because I was kind of begging for my parents to get me Skylanders and I could play the game. And then I came out with Hothead, and I got Hothead. I placed him on the portal. I saw his head glowing. I was like, oh, that's cool. Later on I thought he was a Lycor, but then I got other Giants. Then I realized that, oh wait, that's how the Giants are. So I kind of lost my interest in that, but I have not used Hothead in a while, even though he's probably my favorite Giant because he's the first one I got. I'd say Tree Rex is definitely my favorite now, but that sentence just kind of contradicts the previous one. But this one is probably the best Skylander in the entire series, even if Okay, that was weird for you guys, but I'm not retrying that. I'm 5 minutes in, okay? Just, I feel like most of you don't even look at this video, you just put it on in the background, just because you don't want to see anything in this video. But I have to make this interesting for people who do want to watch this video. So anyway, I got Trierix. He's the best Skylander in the game. Even the reposes and the games and the original characters from the first game. Alright. Crusher. People know him now as the most mediocre Skylander. That's also on the box art right there. I don't have much to say about him. The only thing I can say is that he's kind of cool to look at when you place him on the portal. I'm just going to turn on my portal right now, so then when I'm done talking about all of these, I can just plug my portal in, and then I can just show you guys what I meant by that. Also, that's going to help me push him off to this side. Okay, it's just going to lean like that, I guess, now. Alright. Next up is Jetvac. As you can see, he's definitely not one of the giants, but he is a core figure for the game. I remember seeing this guy, and I immediately assumed when I first saw him that he was just an original Skylander from the original game. I feel like a lot of kids back in the day probably put their newer Skylanders on their old games, and then they thought their Skylander broke because they weren't working. If anybody else thought that their Skylander is broken, even just because you put a new Skylander on an old game, please tell me, because as you know, for me, time for more advertising. I reply to every comment. But seriously, I genuinely want to know if anybody remembered placing Skylanders on the new Skylanders on their old games and thought it wouldn't work just because the portal was broken or the Skylander is broken. But anyway, final one, Hothead. Yes, this was the first Skylander I got with the game. As I said earlier, game only. I hate that, but I got everything later on. I'm pretty sure like one of my friends had 2 portals for some reason for this game specifically. So I kind of just got that for free. Alright. Now for the review. I hope this doesn't bug out like it did last time with my Wii U collection. Go watch that if you haven't. And I'm just plugging everything in my new videos, Jesus. But anyway, the game itself, I'd say is, as I said before, it's the best game in series. I love the level design. I love the new addition to the giants, even though they're just bigger. I think it was cool to add a gimmick to the game just to show, like, wow, this game series isn't gonna be the same as the original. They're just gonna add new figures that do different things. No matter what, even if you didn't like Swap Force, you can admit that it had a way better gimmick than this game. Because this game just made them bigger, which isn't even true for the later games, since sure they made them bigger, but as you can see, Crypt King right here is taller than most of the giants, I believe, which I find to be stupid. But anyway, we're getting off topic because we're not talking about Trap Team yet. I still don't have the portal to play Trap Team. I really want that to arrive soon. Yeah, I ordered it off of Amazon, and I'm still waiting for the portal. That's probably the weirdest request an Amazon seller probably got. Like, nobody's ever heard of Skyland. The guy probably forgot about his Skylanders and just tried to sell this random thing. Then he just sees this guy. But anyway, yeah, that game is an amazing game. Giants, I almost said Trap Team there because that was on my mind. Alright, But Giants is an amazing game. I feel like most people's favorite level was the 11th level, which is Drolix's Big Rig, I believe. And that game is amazing. I have the disc right here. I have the Wii version, which most people dislike the Wii versions later on, and some hate the originals on Wii. But personally, if you know the first two games, they were made for the Wii. They were specifically made for this console. They they had a partnership that they were planning to do with Nintendo. Nintendo declined, so they went to other platforms, which they had to rush on a new engine. But they're pretty similar to each other. So if you have an Xbox 360 or PS3, it's not much different. It's just that there's a little bit more bugs in the game, which if you're a speedrunner, you could probably use. So technically speaking, if you're a speedrunner, you could probably use the game on 360 or PS3. Alright. But now, time to show you what I meant earlier in the video about how they light up. Yes, I plugged in the portal. This is the one from this game, I believe, because this is Skylanders Giants portal, because the Spyros Adventure and Giants look the same, but the main difference is that these markings on the side right there, you can see, like, that's why it's called their own portal. It has all of these markings on it, which I think looks cool. I like how the bottom lights up a bit. But anyway, this is what I meant. So you take about them lighting up. I believe I don't have any light cores actually. I'm trying to think. I don't think I have a single light core. But time to show you what I meant earlier on how these guys light up. This is probably more cool for me now, and most people now, that they actually light up like this. This is very neat. When you turn off all of your lights, you can just see this guy whenever he's on a portal when the game's turned on. So I think these guys are pretty neat in that perspective. But otherwise, this game didn't do much to innovate. They just made Skylanders bigger. Otherwise, I still love this game. I'm 12 minutes in. This is my longest video yet. As I said in the last video, it's pretty low standard since other people's longest videos are about like an hour long, 30 minutes. But anyway, yeah, that's my Skylanders Giants game. That's my review. That's my collection. This isn't a lot of Skylanders, but hey, there's not a lot in this game to begin with. So I'll see you later, and see you in the next video. Bye.